Caleb, you mentioned the judges in the 12 rounds. If it goes to 12 rounds, that you're hoping the right people in the right place to score the fight. You mentioned the Lara fight, the Triple G fight. Are you worried that if it goes to 12 rounds and you get the rings, that it's not going to go your way?
No, I can't worry about that. You know, like I said up there, I can't worry about the judges or the testing or anything like that. I got to focus on the game plan and what I do. Anything outside of that is outside of my control, and worrying about that or focusing on that is the wrong thing to do.
You're not a knockout artist, some might say, but do you feel like you're going to have to go in there and sometimes bite down on the gum shield and go toe-to-toe with Canelo at some stages in that fight?
There's a lot of things I got to do Saturday night, so tune in and
I'll be there.
You'll find out.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Recently tested positive for PEDs. You think he was on PEDs when he fought you?
Say again?
Uzgadigan.
Oh,
he was recently tested for PEDs. Do you think he was on PEDs when he fought you?
Well, you know, he was a champ at that time, and so, you know, I kind of had to bow to a lot of his demands, and there was no VADA testing for that fight. So, you know, one can only speculate, and that's why it's so important to stay away from that stuff, because anything that you've accomplished in the past, anything you've done, there's always going to be a question mark beside it, you know, kind of like with the guy I'm fighting now. So there's no room for that stuff in our sport, and you know, I just don't like stuff like that.
You tower over him, and you got a great jab. You think it's going to be easy to keep him away?
I think so.
One more over here.
So bad.
I know your IBF fight meant a lot to you because of the promise that you made, and I was thinking, you know, how does that fight compare to this one? I know you mentioned a little bit, but does it add a little extra layer this fight compared to that one?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, yes. Just with everything that's on the line and everything at stake. I mean,
Can you say a quick word about having your dad in your corner with you? He's been with you in nearly every fight. When you talk about the relationship that you guys have and how you see that growing?
he's alright.
Damn.
Caleb, this is my little dude right here.
Damn.
So blessed and happy to have my dad, you know, along with me on this journey. We started a long time ago, and when we first started, it was just me and him. And I mean, we've been through a lot together. We put in a lot of work together, and I wouldn't be here without my father. You know, my grandfather as well, having those two strong, you know, male figures in my life to point me in the right direction, to lead me the right way. I mean, I wouldn't be here for one thing.
Did y'all vision being on the stage like years ago?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Does this vision make your success even more rewarding?
Say again?
Does this make your success even more rewarding?
Absolutely. Having my friends with me, having my same friends, my same family that I had from the get-go, my same team from the get-go. I haven't switched teams. And, you know, I think that says a lot about loyalty and you know, having a team mindset, attitude, and ready for November 6th.
Thanks.
Caleb,
Yesterday.
we're going this way. We're going this way. You guys want
yesterday at the Grand Arrivals, Canelo seemed pretty confident in that he would be able to take you out within 7 to 9 rounds. I know that he's made some predictions in the past in terms of like a late stoppage, but you know, how does that make you feel when you hear that?
Those are just words. He's supposed to say that. So, you know, again, he's supposed to say that, and I take it with a grain of salt because I've been told that many times in my life, oh, I'm going to stop him, or I'm going to knock him out. You know, how many times in his career has he fought a fighter like me? He fought Floyd, he fought Lara, Triple G had a good jab, and who has he fought since then that, you know, he hasn't had trouble against? You know how many fighters I've been fighting like him who come forward, try to walk me down, try to go to the body, try to knock me out? Anyone I've ever fought throughout my amateur and pro career, I mean, over 117 amateur fights. Everyone has the same style when they fight me. They want to walk me down and beat me up, so it is what it is.
There's a lot of sacrifices that obviously go into what you do. One of being that you missed your 2-year anniversary with Jordan. Not missed necessarily, I know it's going to be something you guys are eventually going to do, but you know, when you hold your hand up on the night, what do you plan to do to celebrate with her?
I don't know. I haven't thought about celebrating. I haven't thought about, you know, what I'm doing after. I'm fully focused on the task at hand, and you know, I'll get to that stuff, you know, after this.
So I found out you walking down to George Strait. I already knew. I got in your iPod and I found out that that's what you're going to be walking down. I'm just playing with you. Question for you: when you're up there and you're hearing like all the accolades that they're saying about Canelo, you got the Showtime from it. It's already feeling like it's a one-sided fight. What's going through your mind when you're hearing all of that?
It just excites me for what they're going to say about me after the fight. You know, he's earned that recognition, he's earned those accomplishments, and so I'm just excited to see what they have to say about me after I win.
Who do you listen to more in your corner? You listen to your pops, your trainer, or your Jordan?
Say again?
Who do you listen to more in your corner, your pops, your trainer, or Jordan?
I listen to my dad and Justin. You know, they both have good things to say in the corner. And then me and JP will link after and we'll talk about it.
Caleb.
What do you think for Canelo? What do you think for Canelo?
Say again?
What do you think for Canelo?
I think you asked me that the other day, and I got the same answer. I don't think that matters.
Did Andre tell you there's parallels between this fight and this fight that he had with Kovalev? Like, did that conversation kind of go into how he approached that fight?
Say again?
Did, when you had your time with Andre Ward, did some of the conversations, did he mention, you know, his fight with Kovalev and how he stepped to Kovalev, brought it to him? And is there parallels in that fight with this fight that he brought up to you coming into this?
Well, we had some good conversations, and I'll keep those between me and him. He's been you know, almost somewhat of a mentor for me. So he's always able to, you know, if I need to call, he's calling and checking in on me. He's called me this week a couple times, and so I really appreciate Dre and all he's done for me and my wife, and looking forward to chatting with him with all my belts after the fight.
Do you recognize the similarities between the upbringing between you and Canelo? So much has been made about where you come from and how hard it was coming up. If you weren't fighting, you think you guys might appreciate where each other are coming from and how hard you fought to get here?
Maybe so, but it's not the world we live in.
What is it about Canelo Alvarez that you feel is the greatest challenge for you on Saturday night?
Just his experience level, but again, you know, experience is only one factor to winning a fight, and there's many factors to winning a fight, and experience is just one of them. And you know, there's been plenty of fights where the guy with less fights beats the guy with more fights. So.
On paper, you're younger, you're longer, you could easily win this fight if someone were just reading it, yet a lot of the critics have you losing by knockout. What is it that they don't see about you in real life that the paper doesn't show?
I don't know. You know, I can't explain exactly what they're thinking, but there's a lot of big-time trainers out there, and a lot of reporters who saying that I have a really good shot. And the majority is going to go to him, but a lot more people know him, so that's to be expected. But there's a lot of seasoned trainers and big-time boxing heads out there that know that, you know what I'm capable of.
What do you think of the matchup, power versus technique? Like, you feel like you're the more skilled fighter, and will power be an issue in this fight?
I mean, I think power is an issue in every fight. You're right. So, you know, everybody can punch at this weight. Everybody hits hard at this weight, regardless of what you hear, what they say. Everyone hits hard at this weight. But the name of the game is hit and don't get hit. And as of now, according to stats, I'm the best in the division at doing that.
And lastly, Caleb, is there one thing on Saturday night that we'll see from you that we may never have seen before?
I think so. You know, there's been a lot of great fighters in my position before. And, you know, they step up and they fight someone who they're the underdog against, and they get their hand raised and they become the big dog. So, you know, having a fighter like Canelo across from me is going to bring out the best in Caleb Plant.